Since the mass shooting that claimed 26 lives, including 20 children last month, the nation's leaders have been coming up with ways to prevent a similar occurrence from happening in the future. This week, President Obama signed executive orders restricting access to guns, as many Americans poll in favor of more gun control. But Washington, D.C. Mayor Vincent Gray may be open to adopt a different approach to protect students. Gray says he's willing to consider placing armed guards in district schools. It's an agenda endorsed by the National Rifle Association, but not so easily embraced by the American public.
I think that as a general rule, I would say that I think most educators feel that it's not a good idea to have a proliferation of guns in the classrooms.
Kirsten Todd Kuhn studies U.S. national security issues and works with officials to secure schools and public institutions.
Once somebody comes to the door of a school with a gun, they're going to get in. If there had been an armed guard at Newtown, I don't think that would have made a difference. We have to be very careful in how we treat this problem, and by bringing guns into schools, be very aware of what the consequences of that can be.
During the 1980s and part of the 90s, Washington, D.C. had one of the highest homicide rates in the nation, despite tougher gun control laws. D.C. Mayor Vincent Gray says he stands behind the record of the city when it comes to gun control efforts. He says he's open to the idea of considering licensed armed guards at public schools, but hasn't fully explored the idea. Since 1976, the district enacted a law banning handguns, automatic weapons, and required the registration of hunting rifles. In 2008, the U.S. Supreme Court reversed the law, allowing firearms, but restricting them only to inside individual homes.
One can argue and understand that he could consider it. I would just urge him in that consideration to look at the spectrum of what we're dealing with when we bring guns into schools.
In upcoming weeks, Gray says he plans to be outspoken in favor of more gun control measures. He credits the district's shrinking murder rate over the years to its stringent gun control efforts. Colin Campbell, Press TV, Washington.